Okay, what's up? It's been a while since I posted any new videos and stuff, but I just wanted to give my take on why I think Alfonso Riberso has every right to sue Epic Games for the Carlton Dance, and why I think it's important that he's suing Epic Games. One of the reasons that I want to list off my points is that about the comparison between Courtney Cox's dance and Bruce Springsteen's Dancing with the Dark, in which Carlton says that in which Alfonso says it's an inspiration for creating the Carlton Dance. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's the same thing, but I want to point out a few things. That there's a few differences in what's being presented, in the form of the dance. So here is Courtney Cox's dance in the music video Dancing with the Dark with Bruce Springsteen. I want you to pay attention to how she moves her arms and what she's exactly doing. Not exactly the same. Like, if you notice, look. It's just a waving motion, but it's not more exaggerated. The way her like, if you go back to it a few seconds earlier, the way her legs are moving, it's not the exact same pattern as the original Carlton Dance. Now, go back here. This is the original Carlton Dance from season 3 from Fresh Prince. Ashes to Ashes, season 3 Fresh Prince, where it was first introduced. Now notice, look. If you look more closely at how he's moving. See, look at that exaggerated look. He does that. That's part of the Carlton Dance in the original. That's the original Carlton Dance. Now look at his feet. His feet is more stylized. There's a split. He goes in that forward motion part of the song, and then he makes that exaggerated motion when he's lip singing the song, and then he goes back to it. And look at his feet. His feet have a nice pattern to it. He's snapping his fingers. He's singing into that. It's more about the exaggerated expression of singing into the mic and copying It's Not Unusual from Tom Jones. Now let's go do Fortnite Dance from his recent thing. You see the feet pattern that Alfonso Riberso is doing. See that same feet pattern. Look, that is not in the Courtney Cox's dance. And look at that. He's doing the wave motion. He's not just swinging his arms. He's moving side to side with his feet and arms. That's part of the Carlton Dance. There's also another variation with it in the show, but what I want to say is that why I'm making this video is because there's a few years ago there was a similar thing with NBA with the NCAA players with video games in terms of the same controversy in which they were not credited. They were using the same exact players, the same exact movements from their games, and they were using it in video games. I forgot what the video was, but I feel like this is the same exact thing in terms of why it's important. It's because of the fact that, like, video game companies are very rich, and it's also because of the fact that like using, like, I don't think this is, like, kind of important, because it's the fact that, like, you can kind of see the same argument being portrayed by, like, YouTubers, like, in terms of, like, music, music being copyrighted, in terms of, like, as, like, a parody. But in this case, like what Epic Games, like, they literally profit off the same exact dance, like that same feet pattern. Like, they're using the same exact thing in parodies and all that stuff. They're changing it that it's its own thing. This is a straight up rip off from what they're doing. And you can kind of see the same thing in which, like, NCAA players, in terms of like basketball and football games, if I remember correctly, it was with the John Oliver, like the scandal. EA. I know for a fact that this is correct. Yeah, ordered $46 million to pay. Cannot prevent athletes from selling the rights to their names. Cannot prevent athletes from selling their rights to their names, images, and likenesses, receiving any money. So you kind of see what he said, video games and broadcast. So another one of the arguments that's being made is also because of the fact that like previously, like other video games have been stealing like dances from before, from less popular video games. But in this case, it's kind of like, it's annoying to see kind of like dances from like the media, in terms of like, if you kind of like see from like a similar example, like the dab and stuff like that. It's just annoying in terms of like people not being like credited, and in terms of like people not being paid. It's just really irritating in that kind of sense. Like, we as like video game companies, like, they're large enough with their own game mechanics. Like, they shouldn't be trying to like using dances, like using like people's likenesses and people's like creative like moments as a way to like make themselves get the most money from players. It's just irritating that it's being monetized for that. And I don't think even regardless, any video game company, any person, like, they should at least consult like the person, because it's like, it comes into like this thing where like companies, like, say for example on YouTube, like people who make music on YouTube, like in terms of like having like major music labels steal like from Gus Johnson's Gus Johnson's complaint about like the content claim system. Like, it's kind of ridiculous in the sense that like other major companies are able to do this and steal people's creative works without being accredited, or the fact that like it's not even like, this isn't a straight up parody. It's a straight up replication, plagiaristic act that's being used. That's all I wanted to say. And I think that, like, I don't this is kind of a dangerous precedent, like, for people's like content, people's like creative like works being used play by play, like original content being used, like, even like as like a parody. Like, parody in itself, like, this isn't a parody at all. Like, this is straight up like a plagiaristic. It's not a parody at all, which is annoying. That's all I wanted to say.